Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bexar County Court at Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Plea and motion to revoke probation docket. Today is Thursday, June 3rd, 2021. It's approximately 2:15 p.m. The cases I have set today are for pleas, Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement. Texas versus Tresvant Berry, cause 589530, represented by Ms. Carissa Chalkowski.
We are present, ready, Your Honor.
Thank you. County Court 6, trial court pleas. State of Texas versus Michael Martinez, 645594, represented by Ms. Linda Corley. State of Texas versus Ashley Guerrero, cause 654435, represented by Mr. Bo Wood. State of Texas versus James Garcia, cause 653262, represented by Ms. Teresa Garcia. State of Texas versus Luis Cuellar Vasquez, cause 636888, represented by Mr. Juan Carlos Hernandez. State of Texas versus Joe Diaz, cause number 635510 and 635509, represented by Mr. Brian O'Donnell. State of Texas versus Melanie Lopez, cause 645927, represented by Mr. Adam LaHood. State of Texas versus Arturo Martinez, if he shows, I guess, cause 615523, represented by Mr. James Myrat. I don't think we've heard from them today. State of Texas versus Caterina Espinosa, cause 650132, represented by Mr. James Myrat. State of Texas versus Monica Aguilar, cause 619095. With attorney Kevin Stryker. State of Texas versus Mark Ramirez, cause 655800, represented by Mr. Thomas Placier. State of Texas versus Leovgildo Vasquez, cause 653617, represented by Mr. Jeffrey Hole. State of Texas versus Samuel Williams, cause 647013, represented by Mr. Gary Churak. And I'm not sure we heard from Mr. Gazawi, but State of Texas versus Jose Guevara, 654070, 654071, 654072, 654073, represented by Sharif Gazawi. We have one motion to revoke probation, State of Texas versus Joshua Martinez, cause 292976. And this is actually a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke probation. We also have one motion to modify bond conditions, which will be heard last. State of Texas versus Zach Buenos Lopez, cause 657657, represented by attorney Victor Gomez. Let's start with cause number 292976, State of Texas versus Joshua Martinez, which is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke probation. And at this time, Mr. Martinez and Ms. Pease, I need you to identify a couple of documents for me. The first one is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Ms. Pease, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document, ma'am?
Your Honor, I don't believe you're sharing your screen. If that is the documents that I've submitted to Ms. Benavides, that's certainly my signature.
All right, thank you. And the next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which should be marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Martinez?
This document.
Yes, sir, it is.
And Ms. Pease, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Pat, Ms. Benavides, rather, my signature and the date need to be put on by the clerks. And the original document I have was mismarked. It says it's a revocation of the defendant's community supervision. It's not. It's an adjudication of guilt, if that. So we'll see where that's.
Yes, sir. I will have the clerks correct it.
No problem. Okay. Ms. Gross, our CSCD officer, please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in at this time. Do you swear the testimony we're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes, sir, I do.
And our assistant criminal district attorneys are Mr. Nicholas Maru and Ms. Alexis O'Connor. And previously announced representing the defendant is Ms. Hallie Pease. Okay, Ms. Pease, is my understanding that this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. Would that be accurate?
That's accurate, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, in cause 292976 on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke probation, how do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Martinez probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Martinez performed very poorly on probation in that he only reported to our office on one occasion. We haven't seen him since September 1st of 2009. He did not pay anything and he has a balance of $1,178. He did not complete any of his 160 hours of community service. He had one negative drug test. He was ordered to obtain his high school diploma. We have no record of enrollment or completion or obtaining a high school diploma. Obviously, the case is expired. He has no criminal history and we are recommending revocation.
And defense, what are you requesting?
Yes, Your Honor. For purposes of the record, one of his conditions was to obtain a GED or the high school diploma. We are prepared to, plead true to that technical, and we would ask that the defendant be allowed 10 days to tender the outstanding fine and waive the jail time in this case.
Okay. State recommendation?
I'm in agreement with the defense judge. If the court is inclined to revoke and adjudicate, then the state would respectfully ask that you give the defense 10 days for him to pay his past due fines in order to waive the jail sentence.
Okay. Ms. Pease, what I have in mind, let me run it by you first before I actually do it, is I'm going to accept your defendant's plea of true. I'm going to grant the state's motion to revoke his deferred adjudication and probation. I'm going to adjudicate him guilty of the offense of graffiti under $500. I'm going to sentence him to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, a $2,000 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. However, I'm going to give him until, let's see where we are today. How about Monday, the 14th of June at 9:00 a.m. in the morning to report to the Bexar County Jail. But if he pays that $1,178 amount he owes the probation department to the probation department before that time, I will waive his jail sentence. Is that equitable to the defense?
1 moment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be divided based like this is the weekends are included.
You're muted. There you go.
Sorry about that. Yes, that is acceptable, Your Honor.
Okay, and state, would that be okay with you also?
Correct, Judge.
Fair enough. Once again, Mr. Martinez, in cause 292976, the court accepts your plea of true. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of graffiti under $500. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. It says a $2,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. You're to report to the Bexar County Jail to serve your jail sentence on Monday, the 14th of June at 9 a.m. However, if you pay to the probation department before that time, the $1,178 that you owe them, I will waive your jail sentence. If you do this, I will not know you've done it. So you gotta let your attorney know as soon as that's paid, and she can contact either Ms. Gross or me or Ms. Benavides, and then I will just annotate on the file basically that we're waiving your jail sentence because you paid all this money to the county. Is that okay with you, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay with you, Ms. Pete?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state okay with you?
Yes, Judge.
Everybody's happy. Susan's not gonna be happy. Susan wants to put people in jail. Isn't that right, Susan?
I'll take the fifth on that, Your Honor.
All right, so
Okay.
Susan, go ahead.
I was just gonna let Mr. Martinez know, you can pay at the main probation department any day of the week, and it's at 207 North Kamal. It's right across the street from the jail. It's a 4-story building. They take cash, cashier's check, money orders, and sometimes credit cards.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
get into pleas at this time. Our first batch of 6 is going to be cause number 589530, State of Texas versus Tresvant Berry, a Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion plea represented by Ms. Teresa Chalkowski. Second one is State of Texas versus Michael A. Martinez Jr., cause number 645594, represented by Ms. Linda Corley. The third one is cause 654435, State of Texas versus Ashley Y. Guerrero, represented by Mr. Bo Wood. The fourth one is State of Texas versus James P. Garcia, cause 653262, represented by Ms. Teresa Garcia. And the fifth one is cause 636888, State of Texas versus Luis A. Cuellar Vasquez, represented by Mr. Juan Carlos Hernandez. And number 6, and the last one in this batch, is going to be State of Texas versus Joe C. Diaz, cause number 635510 and 635509. My understanding is cause 635510, the defendant is going to enter a plea to, and cause 635509 will be taken into consideration as a part of the plea bargain. Okay, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to identify a document for me. It is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Mr. Berry, in clause 589530, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Chalkowski, as attorney for Mr. Berry, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. In clause 645594, Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document? Michael Martinez with me. Your microphone is off, sir. You'll have to punch the right button to turn it on.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Corley, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Guerrero, on clause 654435, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Wood, as attorney for Ms. Guerrero, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, on clause 653262, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia, as attorney for Mr. Garcia, is this your signature also on this document?
It is.
Thank you. In clause 636888, Mr. Cuellar Vasquez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Carlos Hernandez, is this your signature as attorney for Mr. Cuellar Vasquez?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And in clause 635510, Mr. Diaz, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. O'Donnell, as attorney for Mr. Diaz, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm going to talk to you about is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Berry, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mrs. Guerrero, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Garcia, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Cuellar Vasquez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Diaz, in clause 635510, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Berry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Ms. Guerrero?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Cuellar Vasquez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that correct, Mr. Diaz?
Yes, Your Honor.
As attorney for Mr. Berry, Ms. Chalkowski, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
I have, Your Honor, and he is.
Same question for Ms. Corley as attorney for Mr. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Wood as attorney for Ms. Guerrero.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Ms. Garcia as attorney for Mr. Garcia.
Yes.
Same question for Mr. Hernandez as attorney for Mr. Cuellar Vasquez.
I have and he has, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. O'Donnell as attorney for Mr. Diaz.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Berry, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez, same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Guerrero, same question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia, same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cuellar Vasquez, same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Diaz, same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Shelkowski, as attorney for Mr. Berry, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, they have.
Same question for Ms. Corley as attorney for Mr. Martinez?
They've given me everything I know of, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Wood as attorney for Ms. Guerrero?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Garcia as attorney for Mr. Garcia?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hernandez as attorney for Mr. Cuellar Vasquez?
Yes, they have, Your Honor.
Thank you. And same question for Mr. O'Donnell as attorney for Mr. Diaz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Berry, this is a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement in cause number 589530 to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
The court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year. Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial diversion probation. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment with the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. State, no restitution on this case?
No, Judge.
Okay, we don't need to worry about that then. Requiring successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue a judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Berry, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And as attorney for Mr. Berry, is this your signature on this document also?
It is, Your Honor.
Ms. Shelkowski, thank
It
you.
is.
And Mr. Maru, I see a signature for you as Assistant Criminal District Attorney. Is that accurate?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Mr. Berry, what'd you do in the military, sir?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, say that again.
What did you were what now? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Sure. The question is, what did you do in the military, sir?
Oh, sorry, I'm still active duty.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
rephrase that. What are you doing in the military?
Currently, I'm the acting first sergeant.
Okay. Well, hopefully this program will help you keep that rank going. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Berry?
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Ron, are you going to call Mr. Berry later, or how are y'all going to get together?
No, I'll give him a call, sir.
Okay. Thanks for your service, sir. You're dismissed. Thank you, Ms. Shelkowski.
Thank you. Might be excused, Your Honor.
Bet.
Thanks.
Okay. Let me get my. Okay, Mr. Martinez in cause 645-594 to the charge of terroristic threat. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Martinez?
12 months deferred adjudication, $300 fine plus court costs, an APSE course, and a no contact order with Fernando Plaza and Anthony Plaza.
That is our agreement, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Corley, is there any reason that Mr. Martinez is going to have to see or talk to either of these people in the future?
No, there's not, Your Honor.
Okay, great. Mr. Martinez, the court accepts your plea of no contest. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assessing a $300 fine plus court cost, APSE stress management course or do you have no contact whatsoever with Fernando Plaza and Anthony Plaza? Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Martinez?
Nothing further from the state.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Martinez. Thank you, Ms. Corley. All are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Guerrero on call 654-435. State, I guess you have a motion on this one. Does that sound right?
On Ashley Guerrero, Judge,
Yep. In other words, is it going to be reduced to a DWI first?
I have it still as a 0.15, Judge.
Okay, defense, what's your understanding of what the actual crime that she's going to plead to is?
Judge, there was an accident and a high blow, but I thought we were agreeing to, well, I'm trying to find it. I've just got one over one. Excuse me. Let me try to mute this.
Well, in order to get 1 over the 1, you're going to have a class A, so it's going to have to stay greater than 0.15. Is that what the plea bargain is?
That's my belief, Judge.
Okay, well, the paperwork doesn't say that, but I'll fix it. So Pat, on this one administratively, on the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonitions, it needs to say DWI greater than 0.15. All right, so Ms. Guerrero, to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or greater, how do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
No contest, Judge.
Paperwork says no contest. I will be happy to accept the plea of no contest. State, is there an agreement?
1 over 1, a $500 fine, but 200 of that is probated, plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, $60 to DPS, and restitution, if any, to Plea, Fulton, Edmondson.
And Mr. Wood, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge. The restitution to be determined.
Correct. If at some future point restitution is determined and you guys don't agree to it, we can have a restitution hearing at that time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Ms. Guerrero on clause 654-435. The court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or greater. I find you guilty. I says 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year. A $500 fine, probating $200 of that plus court costs. 24 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months, which is 1/2 the term, $60 in reimbursement to Texas
Instead of saying
Department of Public Safety
DWI,
for-
it needs to say DWI with BAC 15 or higher.
Pat, you need to turn your voice off. And restitution, if any, to Cleo, Fulton, Edmondson. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Guerrero?
Nothing further from the state.
All right, good luck,
No,
Ms.
Your Honor.
Guerrero. Thank you both.
And I'll be in
Pat,
touch,
you
Ms.
need to
Guerrero.
mute yourself.
Okey-doke.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, clause 653-262, Mr. Garcia, to the charge of reckless driving. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Garcia?
1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and we ask this be a JSAT, Judge.
That's correct, Judge. That is our agreement.
And did you say a $300 fine? Was that correct?
200, Judge.
Oh, 200, I'm sorry. I remember the JSAT part. That's the one the defense counsel wants to know about.
That's correct, Judge.
What was our reckless driving allegedly? Was it speed or something more colorful?
It was a speed, Your Honor.
And how fast were we going? Because this is going to be over. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm just interested.
Around like 90, 95.
Okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Is that correct?
No, sir. No, no, Your Honor.
You're the man. Teresa, you drive like your brother.
Yes, he sure does.
Mr. Garcia, 653-262, the court accepts your plea of no contest. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied, slow down. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Garcia?
No, Judge, may we be excused.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you, Judge.
Clause 636-888, Mr. Cuellar Vasquez. Is he looking? Oh, state, you have a motion on this one, it would appear.
Yes, Judge. The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
No objection from the defense.
No
That will be
objection.
granted. This one doesn't need a second paragraph added to it. Oh, it's just gonna be a regular DWI. All right, I got you. I assume that's okay with you, Mr. Hernandez?
It is, no objections, Your Honor.
State motion to waive the 0.15 or higher enhancement is granted. Therefore, Mr. Cuellar Vasquez to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Cuellar Vasquez?
6/12, a $500 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CATSNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And Mr. Hernandez, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is, Judge. Judge, would Mr. Cuellar be able to donate some money to the San Antonio Food Bank in lieu of performing the hours?
What we request are family violence. There's like half a dozen different ones that I call court charities, but family violence prevention, special operations, wounded warrior organization, stuff like that. Pat's got a list. I believe she can get you.
Okay. Great.
You know, somebody's got some really keen interest in some other organization, just run it by me before we do it. But absolutely, $10 an hour, we'll take care of that.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Cuellar Vasquez. The court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court cost, 36 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance or Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months, which is 1/2 the term. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Cuellar Vasquez?
Nothing further from the state.
Nothing further from the defense.
Mr. Cuellar Vasquez, and thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, and clause 635-510, Mr. Diaz. Nope, state, you've got a motion on this one too, it looks like.
Yes, Judge, the state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
And the enhancement on this one is open container, is that correct?
Correct.
Mr. O'Donnell, no objection from the defense, that will be granted.
Thank you, Judge. No objection.
Therefore, Mr. Diaz, in clause 635-510 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
I plead no contest, sir.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Diaz in 635-510?
14 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CATSNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and TIC cause number 635509.
Is that correct, Mr. O'Donnell?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Diaz, in clause 635-510, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months, deferred adjudication probation, assessing a $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 1/2 the term, which is 7 months. Taking into consideration clause 635-509, which is granted, and it shall be dismissed. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Diaz?
Nothing further from the state.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Good luck, Mr. Diaz. Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell.
May I be excused, Judge?
You bet. Okay, start over. Okay, we've got clause 645-927, State of Texas versus Melanie Ann Lopez, clause 650-132, State of Texas versus Katerina L. Espinosa, clause 619-095, State of Texas versus Monica H. Aguilar, clause 655-800, State of Texas versus Mark Ramirez, clause 653-617, State of Texas versus Leo Geldo Vasquez, and clause 647-013, State of Texas versus Samuel N. Williams. Ms. Lopez is represented by Mr. Adam LaHood. Mr. Espinosa, excuse me, Ms. Espinosa is represented by Mr. James Myrat. Ms. Aguilar is represented by Mr. Kevin Stryker. Mr. Ramirez is represented by Mr. Thomas Placier. And Mr. Vasquez is represented by Mr. Jeffrey Hole. And Mr. Williams is represented by Mr. Gary Churak. Each of you, I'm now looking at documents on each of your files entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have both your signature and your attorney's signature on it. Ms. Lopez, in clause 645927, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. LaHood, as attorney for Ms. Lopez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Espinosa, on clause 650132, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Myrad, as attorney for Ms. Espinosa, is this also your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Aguilar, clause 619095, is this your signature on this document, ma'am? Ms. Aguilar, can you hear me?
You might be muted. Are you muted? Ms. Aguilar?
But I don't see her on now. Hold on.
I see her. She's
Yeah,
Monica
she's there.
Huron.
Who'd on? Yeah. Cannot hear you.
Judge, I can get her on. You want me to try to get her on speakerphone, Judge? So that she's visually there and that she's also on speaker.
Okay. This is what we call being caught in the Bermuda Triangle of Zoom.
Yeah, we're going to combo Zoom.
Okay, now she's there.
Monica?
She's on.
Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, wait.
We can't hear her. There you go.
Okay. All right. For some reason, the audio is not working very well, so I'm gonna work the audio for you. The judge is going to ask you a question and just respond to that question.
Can you hear me, Ms. Aguilar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, your case number is 619095, and I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Stryker, as attorney for Ms. Aguilar, also your signature on this document.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Ramirez, in clause 655800, is this your signature on this document?
Your Honor, I don't know if he's on. I was hoping he'd log on at the last minute. I haven't been able to reach him today.
Has he not been here at all today that we're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, Judge. I was hoping he would log on at the last minute.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put you off to the side. If it shows up, that's great, and if not, we'll talk again. Okay, Ms. Vasquez, in clause 653617, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Hull, as attorney for Mr. Vasquez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Williams, in clause 647013, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct. As attorney for Mr. Williams, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the next document I'm referring to is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Lopez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct? Yes, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Espinosa, is this your signature on this document, ma'am? Have we still got Ms. Espinosa with us? Mr. Myrad, is she on or not? I can't tell.
Don't know. Oh,
Was, Your Honor.
Sure, phone is on. She's just not there. We may have to pass her up.
I've asked her to unmute. There.
So have we determined if Ms. Aguilar is on or not?
Judge, Ms. Aguilar.
You are.
She's on. It's Ms. Espinosa that you're asking, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Ms. Espinosa on?
She's on, Your Honor, but she's not sitting where she's supposed to. So she may be out of the room.
Hey, Ms. Espinosa, can you hear me?
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Sorry, yes.
Ms. Espinosa, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Myrat, as attorney for Ms. Espinosa, is this also your signature on this document?
It is. Thank you.
And Ms. Aguilar, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Mr. Stryker, as attorney for Ms. Aguilar, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Vasquez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Hole, as attorney for Mr. Vasquez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Chirac, as attorney for Mr. Williams, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court Admonitions that purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Lopez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Espinosa, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Aguilar, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Vasquez, is this your signature on this document, sir? Mr. Vasquez, can you hear me, sir? Houston, we have a problem. He was there a minute ago, wasn't he?
He was, Judge. It looks like he's frozen.
Mr. Vasquez, can you hear me, sir? Mr. Hole, do you have any idea where we lost Mr. Vasquez?
I think he's back. Looks like there's some movement. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you now.
Hey, Mr. Vasquez, welcome back.
Thank you.
Is this your signature on the document entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition, sir?
Yes, it is, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Williams, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Each of you, by signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Ms. Lopez?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Espinosa?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Aguilar?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And is that correct, Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. LaHood, as attorney for Ms. Lopez, have you had enough time to go over this case with her, and in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Myrat, as attorney for Ms. Espinosa.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Stryker, as attorney for Ms. Aguilar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hole, as attorney for Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Chirac, as attorney for Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lopez, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Same question for Ms. Espinosa.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Aguilar.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Williams.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. LaHood, as attorney for Ms. Lopez, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Myrat, as attorney for Ms. Espinosa.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Stryker, as attorney for Ms. Aguilar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Hole, as attorney for Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Chirac, as attorney for Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, let's see where we're at here. State, have you got a motion on 645-927, Ms. Lopez case?
Yes, Judge, the state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
No objections on the defense, Your Honor.
And is it start out life as a greater than 1.5? Is that what it is?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. State's motion to waive the greater than 0.1 or the 0.15 enhancement. No objection from the defense is granted. Therefore, Lopez in clause 645-927 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. State, is there an agreement?
6/12, a $500 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAT SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement? Mr. LaHood?
It is, Your Honor, but we are wondering if the court has any objection to her buying out all or part of her hours via donation to a charity, Wounded Warriors, for instance.
It's not technically buying out. What it does is if she's willing to voluntarily contribute $10 an hour to one of the court charities, I will probate her probation.
Oh, the community service. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, Judge.
So that'll work just fine though. Okay, Ms. Lopez, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year. A $500 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program outpatient drug course, Smart Start Mobile home interlock 4 blows a day for 1/2 the term, which is 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Lopez?
Nothing further from the state.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Ms. Lopez. Thank you, Mr. LaHood. Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you.
You betcha. Okay. Ms. Espinosa, let me see if there's anything going on here. Nope. Ms. Espinosa, clause 650-132 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Espinosa?
14 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAT SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And Mr. Myrat, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Espinosa, on clause 650-132, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months, deferred adjudication probation. Assess a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, and Smart Start Mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day for 1/2 the term, which is 7 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Espinosa?
Nothing further.
Yes, sir.
Good luck, Ms. Espinosa. Thank you, Mr. Myrat. Mr. Myrat, do you have another client here today that we haven't heard from or seen?
I do. His name was Arturo Martinez. He couldn't make it today because he didn't figure out how to sign the paperwork. He had technology problems.
For next week, I guess, correct?
Yeah, we'll try again next week.
Okay.
Oh, actually, can we get 2 weeks from now? He had work. He had work
Here's what you
issues.
need to do. He needs to come to your office, and then he's right there with you, and then y'all can get all this done while you're
Yeah,
both.
we figured that would be the best way of doing it. So, can we do 2 weeks on that?
I'm sorry?
Could your court give me a 2-week reset for him to come in my office and take
Why
care
don't
of
we do a
this?
1-week reset? Because you're supposed to be doing it today.
I understand. Okay, we'll do, and we'll get him here. Thank you.
Thursday at 2 would be great. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Okay, and clause 619-095, Ms. Aguilar. Let me see what we're doing here. To the charge of theft, $750 to $2,500. How do you plead, ma'am? I see no contest. Is that correct? Mr. Stryker, is the plea no contest? Am I correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there an agreement for Ms. Aguilar?
1/1, $500 fine plus court costs, an ATSE course, and restitution, if any, to Alamo Park Apartments.
And Mr. Stryker, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge. I am court appointed, so we'd ask that the court possibly probate some or all of the fine. But besides that, yes, Judge, we have a plea bargain agreement.
State on these plea bargains, the vast majority of time I'm aware is that everybody agrees on the terms. Now, sometimes the state is open to me probating or doing some other variation on the theme, but normally it's just whatever it is y'all agree to. So state, what's going on with this case?
Judge, this is Nick's case, so I'm not aware of any probating of the fine, but I personally would not be opposed to you probating however much you see appropriate, Judge.
And no community service hours were involved in this plea agreement, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Hell of a defense counsel. Okay, Ms. Aguilar, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of theft of property, $750 to $2,500. I find you guilty. I says 1 year in the Bear County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine, probating $100 of that, plus court costs. ATSE anti-theft course, restitution, if any, to the Alamo Park Apartments. And once again, Mr. Stryker, if they come back and say you owe them $2.5 million and you don't agree that that's an equitable amount,
yes,
we can have a hearing at that point in time.
Yes, Judge.
Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Aguilar?
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Let Ms. Aguilar. Thank you, Mr. Stryker.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Vasquez in clause 653-617.
And Judge, before you continue.
Yeah.
Judge, before you continue, does Miss Aguilar need to wait to talk to CLO, or will they contact her in the coming 48 hours?
They will contact her within 48 hours.
Okay.
And if she doesn't hear, then she needs to call over to intake. That phone number is 210-335-7446. It'll be her responsibility to get in touch with them if they can't get in touch with her.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Gross. Do you understand that, Ms. Aguilar? All righty. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Okay, Mr. Vasquez in clause 653-617.
Right.
State, you have motions on this case.
Correct, Judge. The state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
No objection from the defense. State's motion to amend the information, adding count 2, alleging obstruction of a highway is granted, and then state waiving count 1 and proceeding on count 2, obstruction of a highway is granted. Therefore, Mr. Vasquez, to the charge of obstruction of a highway or other passageway, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Thank you, sir. Is there an agreement for Mr. Vasquez?
12 months deferred adjudication, a $750 fine, 250 of that is probated, court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAT-SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, Mr. Hole, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge, and can I request in this case, he is in refugio. I always pronounce it incorrectly, but he does not live in
Refugio copy.
Refugio, and he does not. Can he do virtual reporting as opposed to having to report in person in Bear County?
Let me back up. He lives in Refugio, is that what you're telling me?
He lives in Refugio.
Okay. And what county is that? I guess is a good question.
Let me see the county.
Refugio County.
Mm-hmm.
It's what county?
It's the same.
I missed that.
Mistaken.
Refugio County, Judge.
Ah, how clever. I want to hear defense counsel say Refugio one more time.
Refugio. Refugio.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Susan, I assume we can transfer this to Refugio County. Would that be accurate?
Judge, the defendant and the attorney are both requesting to do the virtual reporting that we discussed this morning.
Well, he could do that and still have it transferred to Refugio County, correct?
No. If you transfer the case, they will report in person. If you allow virtual reporting, they will do exactly what we're doing right now, but they will not see a body in Refugio County.
Okay, we're going to use Mr. Vasquez as our test subject on this program and see how it works. So if he turns off his computer and we can't find him, we just send the highway patrol out looking for him. What do we do?
Yes, you just issue a warrant and we'll send the cavalry out after him.
All right, I don't think that's going to be necessary. All right, is that what you're asking for, Mr. Hull?
I believe so, Judge. Just because I'm not as familiar with it, I just want to confirm, Mr. Vasquez, do you understand that that would mean you would be reporting virtually on an electronic device rather than in person if it were transferred to your county?
What do you mean, on the phone?
Yeah, exactly like you're doing right now.
Once a month?
Once a month.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah, tell me what I got to do.
They'll make sure you understand that, but I just wanted to confirm that you understood that you'll be doing it virtually like this.
Okay, then you're not gonna, it's not gonna be transferred over here, so I just do it over the phone.
Correct. It will not be transferred. It will remain here in Bexar County, and you're going to report on the internet just like we're doing right now through Zoom.
Okay, that'll be fine.
All right, Judge, please make sure you notate that on the application directions that he's going to.
How is Mr. Vasquez going to find out where to go to all these programs and stuff in Refugio?
He still has to go, Judge, he's still going to go through an orientation here. It'll be just like this. It'll be via Zoom. He's going to go through an orientation. They're going to explain everything. He's going to sign the documents and all of that.
All right, let me rephrase my question and use English this time. How is he going to know where the programs are in Refugio and not Bexar County to attend?
He's going to have to find them. He can contact the probation office or he can let his fingers do the walking.
So the Bexar County person he's talking to virtually will know where these programs are in Refugio County?
No.
How is it going to work? Explain that.
He can let his fingers do the walking through the yellow pages or a Google search, or he can call the probation department down there and ask them what programs they use in that county.
Okay, let me be the first to tell you this will never, ever work. But we're going to try it. We're going to give Mr. Vasquez the ball and tell him to run with it. So, Mr. Vasquez, in clause 653-617, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, assess a $750 fine, probating $250 of that, plus court costs, 24 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, which is not going to work because he's in Refugio and not Bexar County. So an equivalent outpatient drug course. Susan, would you agree?
Judge, I think he will be just fine. He can talk to his probation officer here in Bexar County and ask for assistance. And if he's incapable of finding a place, his officer can get on the computer and they can do a Google search and tell him where to go.
I hope that works. And a Smart Start mobile device at 4 blows a day for 1/2 the term or 6 months. Anything, oh, and he's going to report virtually from Refugio. Is that correct, Sue?
Yes, Your Honor.
Say that again, Jeff. Report virtually.
Refugio.
Hey, thanks, Mr. Vasquez. You and Mr. Holder cut loose. I'm not going to make I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Judge, can I add just one other thing?
Sure.
May I? I am appointed. Mr. Vasquez is unemployed. He is on fixed income each month. Would the court consider reducing any supervision and or fees for his mobile device?
Mr. Vasquez, there are approximately 1,000 defendants on probation and county court at law number 6 have the minimum supervisory amount of $25 a month.
And I also wanted to just make sure when Mr. Vasquez was filling out his application for deferred, he was he wanted to bring this up just to be thorough. He believes about 30 to 40 years ago, which I think the state is aware of, he may have been convicted of a felony. And he didn't want the court to think he was misrepresenting anything, but it's been so long that he initially answered no. So I don't know if I need to request that be altered, or I just wanted to make sure that was on the record, that he didn't intentionally try and mislead the court on that.
What was the felony he was allegedly accused of or convicted of or whatever?
So it was in another state, Judge, and he thinks 30 to 40 years ago, some type of assault. And he knows he got probation for it. He believes it was a felony. But again, I don't have any documentation to confirm that.
State, I'm not going to look real hard for it if you don't.
Okay, I can go pull the file real quick and look at MCICT.
Well, I mean, if the state doesn't object, it goes right through, is my understanding. So, state, do you object? State, you're going to need some time to talk to somebody in Cipher on this.
Judge, what is the request?
We're trying to confirm that Mr. Vasquez is eligible to be on misdemeanor probation. Is that not what we're doing, Mr. Hull?
That's correct. I just wanted to make sure the court was aware that he had a prior that he believes he was convicted of.
I'm going to hold all this paperwork and his plea in abeyance for right now and let the state percolate on it. And I assume we'll know something either today or first thing in the morning. Alexis, would you agree?
Yes, Judge.
And then we can give you a go, no go, or whatever, and we'll go from there. I think it'll go through, no problem, but it's up to the state, actually. And they may not be able to find anything anyway. You know how that works. So, Mr. Vasquez, right now we're good. No problem. And the state will contact your attorney tomorrow and let them know what's going on. You've already done everything you need to do. If I get a green light to process it, I'll enter it tomorrow, not tonight. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Hull, for bringing that up. That's a big deal. Okay, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
647013 to the charge of disorderly conduct. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Williams?
1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and we ask this be a JSAT, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Chirac, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
What was the disorderly conduct that Mr. Williams allegedly participated in?
He discharged a firearm at an unruly dog who was not obeying his master and bothering people, growling with his teeth.
But he didn't shoot the dog. He just scared the dog away.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, luckily it wasn't you because you would have whacked him, wouldn't you?
No, I'm a dog lover.
Okay. All right. But that's your understanding of the agreement, correct, Gary?
It is.
Mr. Williams, in cause 647013, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of disorderly conduct. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Williams?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Williams. Thank you, Mr. Chirac.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. And all I have left, I guess, is Mr. Gomez's motion to modify bond conditions. Would that be accurate?
Your
That's
Honor,
correct, Judge.
Your Honor, Mr. Gravata is here. He still has not signed the paperwork. I just checked. He's been trying to sign it. And then I have another individual that has iPhone. I don't know whether that's Mr. Placer's person or not.
Mr. Gazawi, can you hear me?
I can, Your Honor.
Pat, this motion to modify bond conditions is probably going to take 30 minutes. Can you not get them paperwork and we could do Mr. Guevara's plea afterwards?
Is there any way, Mr. Gazaba, you can explain to him? He said he's trying to sign it, but I checked. He has not signed the paperwork. Maybe you can walk him through it, go out, talk to him on the phone maybe and walk him through it, and then come back in because we'll still be here.
Okay, if we could go into a breakout room.
Sure, you can go back to one.
Okay.
And now, I don't know, Mr. Placer, whether this iPhone is your individual or not.
I don't believe it is.
Okay, let me find out who he is, and then we can do this. Can you unmute? I see an individual. I'm asking you to unmute so we can, okay. Who are you, sir?
I'm Zach Munoz.
Who?
Zach Munoz.
That's my client.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Gomez.
All right. And Your Honor, they have not signed any paperwork. I never got an email address to sign that we have this hearing. He never gave us permission
You have to have a waiver for a bond modification hearing. I mean, they can do it orally as far as I can tell. That okay with you?
I think if they just stipulate maybe on the record that the defendant is okay doing it by video conference, that should be enough, Your Honor.
I'm okay, Judge. Any way you want to do it. What's my client?
Tony Hernandez, what are you doing here? You look at all these good lawyers trying to learn something? What are you doing?
Just looking for love in all the wrong places, Judge.
Your Honor, may I be excused? Mark Ramirez is currently not here today.
Get out of here.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Have a good afternoon.
Judge, I just have a motion for permission to travel on a Nancy Moore.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Have you actually filed something in writing?
I did, Judge, and it was accepted, and I emailed you a copy of it. She just wants to go to Corpus Christi today and come back on the 6th, high school graduation for her daughter.
And what is your client's name?
Nancy Moore, M-O-I-R.
And what is she charged with?
DWI second.
Okay, and she's on
She won't be driving.
Is she on a Smart Start mobile device?
She is, and she's not driving.
Then no problem. I think I've seen it come by yet. Pat just remind me to track it down if you send it in an email, but it's granted orally as far as I'm concerned, no problem. She'll have to take a ETG UA when she comes back. Other than that, no big deal.
That's fine. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Okay, and is Mr. Guevara supposed to be in the breakout room?
Mr. Guevara, you need to go back in. I think he went now, Your Honor.
Okay, hang on, let me find my stuff. Let's take
Mr. Guevara, you need to go back into the breakout room. Your attorney is waiting to explain some things to you. You have not signed the paperwork. Please go back into the breakout room.
Let's take a 5-minute break. I apologize, but I've been doing this for an hour and a half, 3 hours, something. I don't know, it's taking forever. Be back in 5 minutes and we'll be ready to start on Mr. Gomez. Motion to modify the bond conditions to reference Zach Munoz Lopez, clause 657-657. So see you in 5.
See you in 5, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Guevara, you need to go back into the breakout room with your attorney. You need to go. Okay, I'm gonna fix this. Let's see if he stays. Nope. You need to go back into the breakout room with your attorney, Mr. Guevara. He wants to talk to you.
You're on mute, sir. We cannot hear you.
Who's that? I don't think they're talking to me. Huh?
Mr. Guevara, you are still muted. We cannot hear you.
Okay,
I'm pressing unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you need to go back into the breakout room. He is back in breakout room 1, so he can talk to you.
He just talked to me. I just talked to him on the phone. I'm gonna get off of this so I can go up to my Gmail. That's all I was trying to do. I didn't want to. I didn't want to get off of here.
No, and that's fine. You can get off and then come back in.
Okay. All right.
Sign it.
That's
and
the
I'll
only
see you
reason
whether
I didn't
I
get off.
got it or not when you come in. Okay.
Thank you.
Pat, are you going to stay on YouTube?